Hello children, welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to learn an interesting story, the story of Mulan. It shows the bravery of a teenage girl and her love and affection towards her father. This is a story given in 10th Standard Samachir Kalvi, Chapter 3 as a supplementary reader. In those days, women remained indoors unless permitted to go out with an escort. What is escort? Escort is a person or group of people or a vehicle which accompanies a person for protection. Conditions today have changed. We have to thank all those women who have fought for their freedom and set a very good example for others. Even in olden days, there are some heroic women whose selfless, intelligent and courageous actions should be forever remembered. Queen Durga Devi, Rani Lakshmi Bai and Rani Tarabai and many others should be forever remembered. This is the classic story of Mulan based on the legend of Hua Mulan. A legend is a story from long ago that is believed to be true or mostly true. So, legend, a traditional story popularly regarded as historical importance. Let me give the gist of the story. This is the story of a heroic Chinese girl who saves her country from the enemy by her talent. Once China had to fight a war, the emperor ordered that one man from each family must join the army. Mulan's father was aged and sick. Her brother was a child. She cut her hair short and dressed like a boy. She rode on a horse and joined the army. Mulan proved to be a brave soldier. She was made the general of the army. A serious fever spread in the army. The doctor found out the gender of Mulan. The news spread. They wanted to dismiss Mulan. The enemy suddenly attacked the country. With her able and efficient command, the war was won. The emperor rewarded Mulan. He banned the order against women. Mulan returned to her village with the reward of 6 horses and 6 wards. So let us know the characters in the story of Mulan. Mulan, a teenage girl who fought bravely and won the war, heroine of the story. Mulan's father, old and sick. Mulan's little brother, child. Soldiers fought honestly and bravely in the war. Doctor identified Mulan's gender. The emperor, ruler of China. Enemies, the opponents of China. Let us know the meaning of few words. Carving, an act of cutting a shape or pattern into wood or stone. Robe, a long, loose outer garment reaching the ankles. Kung Fu, a Chinese method of fighting that involves using your hand and feet and not using weapons. Might, great and impressive power or strength, especially of a nation, large organization, or natural force. Bowed, bending the body forwards from the waist, especially to show respect for someone. Let me read the story and give the meaning of each paragraph. Many years ago, China was in the middle of a great war. The emperor said that one man from each Chinese family must leave his family to join the army. Mulan, a teenage girl who lived in a faraway village of China, heard the news when she was outside washing clothes. So China was in the middle of great war. Just because the China was in shortage of soldiers, so the emperor proclaimed that from each Chinese family one man must join the army. Mulan, a teenage girl who lived in a faraway village of China, heard the news. At that time, she was washing her clothes, and hearing the message, she ran into the house. Mulan ran into the house. Her father was sitting in a chair carving a piece of wood. Father, she said, did you hear what the emperor says? Each family must do. So Mulan ran into the house and told the fact that a person from each family, one man from each Chinese family must join the army. So just see the picture. The emperor gives the order that one man from each Chinese family to join the army. This is Mulan's heart, and this is Mulan, a teenage girl who ran into the house in order to give the message to her father. Yes, said her old father, I heard about it in town. So the father said that he heard about it in town. Well, I may as well go pack up. He put down his carving and stood up and walked very slowly to his room. So, immediately after hearing the message, father get ready to join the army. Wait, said Mulan. Father, you have not been well, if I may say so. Why at your age must keep up with all those young men? Here you could notice keep up. So it is a phrasal verb, make or progress at the same rate or at the same speed as someone. That is, he has to do his work at the same speed as the other soldiers, whether it is possible. So Mulan said her father to wait. Father, you have not been well, you are not feeling well, if I may say so. Why at your age must you keep up with all those young men? So you are getting old, so why you should keep up with all those young men? What else can be done? Said her father. Your brother is a child. He cannot go. So what should be done then? No other go. I have to go and join the army. This is emperor's order. Your brother is a little child. He cannot go and join the army. Of course, that's true, said Mulan. He's too little. But I have an idea. She poured her father a cup of tea and handed it to him. Father, have some tea. Please sit for a minute. I will be right back. So, Mulan telling about the order to her father, and she was giving a cup of tea, and says that she had an idea and asked her father to wait for a minute. Mulan went into her room. With her sword, she cut off her long black hair. She put on her father's robe. Going back to her father, Mulan said, "Look at me, I am your son now. I will go in your place. I'll do my part for China." "No, my dear," said the old man, "you cannot do this." Since her father was not feeling well, Mulan volunteered to join the army in her father's place. At once, she ran into her room. Just see, she ran into her room and cut off her long black hair and told her father that she was his son now. She would do her part for China. But father refused as women were not allowed in the army. She was wearing long loose outer garment reaching the ankles. But father refused as women were not allowed in the army. Mulan replied that since he had trained her in kung fu and showed her how to use a sword, she would be able to do her part for China. So only so that is father, listen please, said Mulan. For years you trained me in kung fu. You showed me how to use a sword. Mulan swung the sword back and forth with might. With all powers, Mulan swung the sword back and forth and proved that she knew how to use a sword and he had trained her in kung fu. "Only so that you could stay safe," said her father. "I never meant for you to go to war. If they find out you are a woman, you know as well as I do that you will die. So, if the emperor finds you as a woman, then definitely they would put her to death. Not only they will put you to death, but even they will put me to death." "No one will find out, father," said Mulan. She picked up her sword. So no one will find that he was Mulan's father. So she picked up her sword. Mulan said the father, he tried to get up but had to hold on to his chair. So he could not get up from the chair. So he had to hold on to his chair. The daughter kissed him. "Goodbye. I love you, father," she said. "Take care of yourself. Tell my brother I said goodbye." She climbed on a family horse and off she went to join the emperor's army. Mulan kissed her father and said goodbye to him. In the army, Mulan proved to be a brave soldier. That is, in the army, Mulan proved to be a brave soldier. In time, she was put in charge of other soldiers. Her battles went so well that she was put in charge of more soldiers. Her battles kept on going well. What is battle? Fight between two armed forces. Fight between two armed forces. So in the army, Mulan proved to be a brave soldier. She showed her power, and in time she was put in charge of other soldiers. So in time she was put in charge of other soldiers, and her battles kept on going well. Her fight between two armed forces went on going well. After a few years, Mulan was given the top job. She would be general of the entire army. What is general? An, uh, an army official of high rank, a commander of an army. Not long after that, a very bad fever swept through the army. Many soldiers were sick, and Mulan, the general of the army, became sick too. When the doctor came out of Mulan's tent, he knew the truth. So, as she disguised herself as a boy, was revealed a very bad fever swept through the army. So, because of that, many soldiers were sick. Even Mulan, the general of the army, became sick. When the doctor treated her, came out of Mulan's tent, he revealed the truth that Mulan was not a boy, she was a girl. The general is a woman. Yelled the soldiers. Yelled, shout in a loud and sharp way. How can this be? Some called out. So some few person shouted, especially saying that how could a woman be a general? They said, punish her, make her pay. The cost is for her to die. That is, they said that she should be put to death. They said, stay away from our general. But others called out in voices just as loud, with Mulan, we win every battle. That is, few soldiers said that they have won every battle. They raised their voice saying that they won every battle with Mulan. Few soldiers shouted that general was the woman. As she tricked them, she must be put to death. But other soldiers raised their voices saying that they won every battle with Mulan. Just then, a soldier ran up. Everyone, he called, a surprise attack is coming. Sometime later, that is just then, a soldier ran up to make something very quickly. So he gave a message quickly saying a surprise attack was coming from the enemy. Mulan heard this from inside her tent. She got dressed and came out inside. Mulan heard this from inside her tent. She got dressed and went outside. She was not yet strong, but stood tall. She told the soldiers where they must go to hide so they could attack when the enemy came. But they must get there fast. The soldiers, even those who did not like that their general was a woman, could tell that Mulan knew what she was talking about. So when she heard this news, that is about the enemy's surprise attack from inside her tent, she got dressed and came outside. Though she was not strong, she told the soldiers that they must go to hide so they could attack the enemy when the enemy came. It worked as she had directed them. She instructed how they have to attack the enemy. The battle was won finally. It was such a victory that the enemy gave up at last. The war was over. It worked. The battle was won. It was such a big victory that the enemy gave up at last. That is, the enemy was defeated. The war was over and China was saved. You can be sure that after the last battle, no one cared anymore that Mulan was a woman. No one cared that Mulan was woman because the battle was won. It was such a victory that the enemy gave up at last. The war was over. The enemies were defeated. The emperor was glad that Mulan had ended the long war. He set aside the rule about being a woman. Mulan, stay with me in the palace, he said. Someone as smart as you would be a fine royal advisor. The emperor was so happy that Mulan had ended the long war. He abolished the law about being a woman. So even women can join the army. Mulan, stay with me in the palace. That is, the emperor requested Mulan to stay with him in the palace, and he gave the post as a royal advisor because she was very smart. She has more knowledge in the specific area. Mulan bowed deeply with deep respect. You are too kind, sir, she said. So she said that he was very kind. He humbly said that. At last, Mulan bowed deeply. You are too kind, sir, she said. But if you can please, what I wish most of all is to return home to my family. The emperor was so glad, and she asked her to be her royal advisor. She replied that she must return home and join her family. So she refused humbly. The emperor at last gave her fine gifts. Then at least take these fine gifts, said the emperor, so everyone at your home and village will know how much the emperor of China thinks of you. So finally, the emperor gave her fine gifts, that is 6 fine horses and 6 fine swords. Just see, Mulan returned to her village with the 6 fine horses and 6 fine swords. Everyone cheered that she was safe. Village people cheered, that is, appreciated Mulan. The person who had saved China was their very own Mulan. So Mulan from faraway village had saved the China from the attack. They are very proud of Mulan. So being a girl, she had saved the China because of her brave act, her patriotism and love for her country by fighting bravely, and she also exhibited her love for her father and brother. Her patriotism and love for her family are very well balanced. So I have given essay for the story of Mulan. So conclusion, nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I am possible. So thus Mulan, a multifaceted personality, showed her love for her country by fighting bravely. She also exhibited her love for her country by fighting bravely. She also exhibited her love for her father and brother. So this is the essay for the story of Mulan. I have given. You have to write the name of the supplementary reader, characters, theme, outline, then write the synopsis. So pause the video and write the note down it. So patriotism of the young girl, bravery of Mulan, the truth revealed, Mulan's rescue, her humbleness and gifts, conclusion, moral. Please pause the video and note down the essay. Rearrange the sentences given below in the correct sequence. This carries 5 mark, children. So I have given 10 points. Please rearrange it. Pause the video. Rearrange it. In the next slide, I have given correct answer. Please check your answers. Thank you for watching.